Hi, Tara Salee, IV dietitian, here today with my top tips for managing your blood glucose. Today in our country, there's over 50% of people that now have elevated blood glucose numbers. This is up from even 10 years ago. 38% of people are in the pre-diabetic category, which is anticipated that in the next 10 years, they're gonna be type 2 diabetic. This is very concerning and isn't something to take lightly. Having elevated blood sugar numbers can increase your likelihood of heart disease as well as other complications. But we do have a lot of control with diet. We can change our diet and lifestyle to actually reverse some of these trends. So today I'm going to talk to you about some of my top tips for managing those blood glucose numbers. If you're a little concerned or confused and maybe don't know your numbers currently, we do have a free A1C screening coming up in the month of April at select Hy-Vee locations. So your A1C number is a 3-month average blood sugar number. It actually looks at a red blood cell to see how much glucose has accumulated in the last 3 months to give you your average. It's a great diagnostic tool and screening tool for becoming pre-diabetic or diabetic. So it's really important to know those numbers. You can go to hyvee.com/health to sign up or get more information about those screenings. So today, my very top tip is going to be to eat a healthy breakfast that includes a good source of protein. So protein is going to be an important part of our plate at every meal, especially at breakfast, because this provides your blood sugar stability. Protein takes a very long time to break down. It takes longer to break down than any other macronutrient, longer than carbohydrates and longer than fat. So if we start our day with a good source of protein, it can be very helpful in providing stability for our blood sugar, not only through the morning hours, but even later into the day as well. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys today is a very quick and healthy breakfast recipe. It's an egg spinach scramble. So this is something you'll need to make on the spot in the morning. And what you're going to need for this is, first of all, some cooking spray, an egg, some egg whites, salt and pepper just to taste, some Italian seasoning, spinach leaves, which you could also use frozen if you have those on hand, and then some finely shredded cheese. So to start with, we are going actually to spray our mug. Next up, we need to add our egg. This is just one large egg. From there, we're going to do 3 tablespoons of egg whites. So these are just the Hy-Vee brand, unflavored here. This is actually, I don't know why I grabbed this as a half tablespoon measure, so I'm doing double, but I know it looks like I'm doing 6, but it is a half tablespoon. I just need 3. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of milk. I opted for the Fairlife milk. This is skim, so this is a non-fat milk, but the Fairlife brand, which I've mentioned before, is going to be ultra filtered, so it's lower in carbohydrates. So in 1 cup of this, there's only 6 grams of carb, and that's about half the amount in other cow's milk products. Now you could certainly also do a milk alternative if you prefer, but you would be missing out on some of that protein. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of this. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball that. We're gonna do salt and pepper to taste. So because we're wanting to make this healthy, I'm just gonna do just a little bit of salt. I really like pepper, so I'm gonna do more of that. And then next up, we're gonna do just a dash. This is just an Italian seasoning, just a dash of that for some extra flavor. I'm gonna take a fork and then whip this up. From there, this is when we're going to add our spinach. So over here, I've started to give this a rough chop here. Now, if you like other veggies as well, you could certainly add those also. Okay, we're gonna add our spinach. This is all I'm gonna do today. But really the sky's the limit here. If you wanted to add red pepper or onion, you can certainly do that as well. I'm gonna mix that in. I'm gonna add just a little bit of cheese. This is the sharp cheddar cheese. We'll do just a couple tablespoons of that for flavor. Mix that in, and that is it. So if you're in a hurry in the morning, this doesn't take much time at all for a great protein-packed breakfast. From there, into the microwave it goes for 2 minutes. So while that is cooking, which took no time at all, I'm going to tell you my second tip. So we already know we need to eat a protein-packed breakfast to manage our blood sugar, not only in the morning, but all throughout the day. It has that impact. Number 2, we need to eat our meals in a specific order. So I'm going to give you that order here. Number 1, when we have our plate in front of us, we've talked about the importance of multiple food groups on our plate over the last couple months, but I want you guys to eat your vegetables first, non-starchy vegetables. So that's things like our spinach leaves, that's things like our broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, all of our non-starchy vegetables. The reason why is because these are loaded with fiber, and fiber is like a magic pill that slows the breakdown of our carbohydrate and glucose. So we're not going to get those spikes if we're eating our fiber first. So that's number 1. Number 2, we need to go over to the protein part of our plate, and we need to have protein second. So first we're having our non-starchy vegetables, then we're moving on over to have our protein next. After we eat our protein, then we can circle around our plate to the carbohydrates. This is going to be our crackers and our pasta, rice, things like that. This is the very last thing we want to eat. I can't stress enough the importance of eating in that order. There is current research showing that this can slow the spike of your blood sugar up to 75%. This is as effective as some diabetic medications. So a great tool to use. It also kind of emphasizes the importance of having different food groups on your plate. You know, we've talked about really trying to pack our plates with those vegetables. This is one more reason why we need to do that. All right. So here we go with our egg spinach scramble. You can see it puffed up in there. You want to use a mug that's a little bit larger, but this is piping hot. It smells delicious and super flavorful. The cheese is already in there, very tasty. So breakfast ready to go. The other convenient thing is it has a handle, so if you're rushing out of the house, once again, you have an easy take along type of option. Okay, so I'm going to get this cleaned up and get our next recipe ready, and then we'll go through my last 3 tips for managing your blood glucose. Hi, back now where we're going to be making a Greek yogurt and avocado tuna salad in just a minute. This is a great option as a packable lunch that you can prep and take to work. That it's going to give you that extra protein boost midday to help continue to stabilize those blood sugars. But first off, I want to share my 3rd tip for balancing your blood glucose. It is saving sweets for later in the day. Don't start your day with a sweet or a high carb sugary item. Donuts, pastries, sugary muffins, things like this are the worst way we can start our day. Scones, all of these things are going to spike our blood sugar early, and then all day long we're going to be battling blood sugar spikes and then crashes. So what I want you to do is not necessarily avoid all these foods forever, but I want you to pair those in later in the day, maybe after a healthy lunch or after a healthy dinner. I want you to put those up next to a meal rather than having them without a protein. So to be honest, I mean, the dietitian's never going to tell you to go eat a donut, but we all like donuts from time to time. So it's going to be a lot better for our blood sugar to have that donut after we have, let's say, a healthy lunch like this Greek yogurt and avocado tuna salad, to have a small donut as our dessert, rather than in the middle of the afternoon to have that donut. The reason for that is because we've already had protein with our lunch. It's going to slow the breakdown and the blood sugar spike from that donut. Versus having it on an empty stomach, we're going to have a blood sugar spike kind of like a mountain rather than a hill. So that is tip number 3. So next we're going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to make the Greek yogurt and Greek yogurt and avocado tuna salad. So first off, you're going to need an avocado. You want this to be as ripe as possible. These aren't quite as ripe as I typically like to use for this, but we're going to make it work for today. Some onions, celery, plain Greek yogurt. So you want this to be completely unflavored. So this is the one that will taste kind of like sour cream. A lemon. You'll need salt and pepper, as well as onion powder and garlic powder, and then some good tuna. So I have a couple tuna options to show you today. I picked the Wild Planet up from the Health Market. This is a no salt added tuna option, which I love, and then it's also sustainably sourced. So it's Poland troll caught. This Poland line caught tuna is just fantastic. The other one I picked up just to show you another no salt added option, which can be kind of hard to find because tuna can be pretty high in sodium, is the Starkist Selects. They also have a no salt added option. This one is not sustainably sourced though. So to start with, I went ahead and cut one of our avocados in half here. And so we're gonna need to mash this. Again, this one is not nearly as ripe as I would like it to be. So I'm really having to kind of like squash it in here. The other thing you can do, is look in the produce department for the little packages of guacamole. You want to look specifically for the one that says 100% Hass avocado. So this is not the actual guacamole one, it's just avocado, and that works fantastic when you're making this, because then it's already kind of mashed up for you. The other thing you can do is in the frozen aisle, there is frozen cubed avocado there. And so when you bring that to room temperature, it's very easy to smash as well. All right, I almost got it here. Avocados are a great source of fiber. They also have so many heart-healthy fats, so it's a great thing to add to our diet. They can brown, which is why we're going to be using the lemon. So next up, we're going to add the plain sour cream. You need half a cup of this. It's just about an entire container. All right. So we're going to continue to kind of mash this because we really want this to be smooth. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, but all right, so this is kind of the base. Okay, so next up we're going to do half a teaspoon of garlic and onion powder. Or to taste, so you know, if you don't like either of these, you can leave them off. But this one I don't have much left, so I'm just gonna finish it off there. And then some salt and pepper. Again, I really like pepper, so I'm gonna put more of that. Just a touch of salt. We'll give that a stir. So this is where we want to pack on the veggies. So we're going to do onion and celery. Adds a little bit of crunch, which is kind of nice also. You could do the same thing if you're not a tuna fan with chicken. You could do like a Greek yogurt and avocado chicken salad, which would be really good. Sometimes what I do, if we have like leftover grilled chicken from the weekend or something, I'll meal prep that into a salad I can take for lunch. And then we'll do a little onion in there. The shortcuts are such a time saver. So again, if you're just wanting to cut a few corners, you could do that. You're going to do 2 cans of tuna. So I'm going to use both of those. Then again, I'm going to just mash this up in here. Then the last thing we're gonna do is we will add our lemon, which because we are using the avocado, it's also gonna prevent the browning, which is really nice. So again, if you're meal prepping this and you wanna have it the next day or the following, it won't turn brown on you. So far in this, we have a couple really great protein sources. We have our tuna, obviously, which is loaded with protein. We've added Greek yogurt, which is another great protein source. And then we also have a little bit of protein even from our avocado. So I'm gonna juice this lemon. We need half of a lemon in here. Sometimes backfires and squirts me. Oh, didn't get me, but it got the rest of the counter. All right. And there we have it. So this is done, and then to pair this, to turn this into a meal, you could do a couple different things. So I sometimes get bored eating the same thing over and over, so I will usually do 3 different meal pairings with the salad I make. The first one being, you could put it over some lettuce. So the same spinach that we use for our breakfast in a mug, we could use as the base of this, and then we could do 3/4 of a cup of that right on top of those spinach leaves. You could pair this with a piece of whole wheat toast, or even some whole wheat crackers. Just remember, also make sure you get some more of those veggies on your plate, and you want to start with that. Okay, so our next tip is we want to move a few minutes after every single meal, if possible. So, especially if you have a meal that's carb heavy, this is a prime time that you want to get up and move. So if you have the opportunity to take a quick break at work or walk, go on a walk on the weekends after you, or go out to eat, this would be an ideal time to lower that blood sugar. Walking and movement helps get that blood sugar down because it absorbs the glucose right out of your bloodstream. Next up, I'm going to show you some protein-packed snacks. All right, so back with tip number 5, it's stay consistent. The one thing I will say is that my patients and customers who are most successful sticking with any sort of behavioral change in the long term are the ones that are not the all or nothing people. It is the people that live in the gray. So try to give yourself a little grace. Know that you're not going to be perfect all the time, but try to adopt some habits that you can stick with for a long time. So not every meal is going to be the healthiest. Maybe some meals are a little higher in carb, or you don't eat them in the right order. But try to get right back on it as soon as possible. Again, that A1C is going to measure your 3-month average, so one meal here or there is not going to completely derail you. I do also want to show you a couple smart snacks. These are some options that I really like because it pairs up something that's going to be high in fiber, which remember is that very first food we want to eat on our plate, plus something that is going to be high in protein. So first up, if you're a salty, crunchy type of person, these are Bada Bean Bada Boom little fava beans. So this is actually a bean. They're kind of crunchy, but they're also seasoned. This is sea salt. There's a ranch, a honey mustard option. They have 6 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber per serving, and very satisfying if you're someone that currently is snacking on crackers or chips. This would be a great swap. These are in our health market. Next up, another option would be the Harvest Snacks. These are baked green pea snacks. Again, 5 grams of protein here and 4 grams of fiber, so a really good combo food. And then maybe think about pairing those with some hummus, which is going to give you an extra boost of fiber. Again, trying to pair up a couple things there. Bonitos with some guacamole, another power smart snack. Again, our bonitos are loaded with protein and fiber. And then when we put them with that avocado for that extra boost of fiber, even better. The Justin's on-the-go packs are very nice because this is actually the one I wanted to show you. They now have the almond butter plus protein. So this is a really great option because you're getting 6 grams of protein. And then we would pair that with an apple or a banana, even maybe some celery sticks would be another good option, and this would be something you could easily grab and go. The Oikos 000 yogurt. This is just the vanilla flavor. You could turn this into a parfait with some berries. And then of course we have our veggies. Here we have some hard-boiled eggs with veggies, which is again another power snack, trying to pair up that protein with some of our fiber being the fruit and vegetable. With those hard-boiled eggs, if you are looking for a time saver, you can actually purchase those already boiled. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of effort sometimes to actually boil the eggs, but you'd be surprised how many of my patients say these are a huge lifesaver for them to just get them ready to go. Hopefully you've picked up some good tips today on how to manage your blood glucose, as well as maybe some ideas, some protein-packed meals, as well as smart snacks. As always, your Hy-Vee dietitians are here to make your lives easier, healthier, and happier. Have a great day.